We spent 7 glorious nights sailing down the Rhine on a summer cruise, but that wasn't all. Bolted securely onto the end of that, a 3-day Swiss adventure featuring the legendary Glacier Express, widely considered Switzerland's most breathtaking train journey. And if that wasn't enough, we finished it all off with a stay in Zermatt, quite possibly the most picturesque town we've ever laid eyes on, sitting right at the foot of the mighty Matterhorn, one of the top 5 most famous and recognisable mountains in the world, and arguably the most photogenic. The Rhine isn't just any river, it's the river for cruising. Winding its way through 6 countries, it's a rolling showcase of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, fairytale castles, medieval villages, endless vineyards, and historic heavyweights like Cologne, Strasbourg, and Basel. It's basically Europe showing off. Thinking about a river cruise in Europe? This one might just be the one you'll love. So join us for a sun-soaked journey through some of the continent's most breathtaking locations, where history, beauty, and a well-earned glass of local wine and the most authentic cheese fondue await. Let's go! Last summer, Riviera extended an invitation to join the Rhine River cruise, starting in Cologne and ending in Basel, with a 3-night land extension into Switzerland, including the legendary Glacier Express rail experience. Naturally, it took us less than a nanosecond to accept. Flights were included, and we met our fellow travellers at arrivals in Cologne, where Julian, one of the 2 cruise concierges tasked with looking after us for the week, was waiting to escort us to our floating home, the Geoffrey Chaucer. For those unfamiliar with ancient English literature, the decision to call a ship Geoffrey is not a result of the CEO's love of Toys R Us. Geoffrey Chaucer is almost as famous as William Shakespeare. Well, to us Brits anyway. Both are equally as embedded into our English language studies in schools and universities, and both are as hard to digest as a bratwurst buffet. We were on board by 11 a.m, but with our rooms not ready until 3, we took matters into our own hands. This was our only day in Cologne after all, so we went off to see what the city had to offer. Our first stop, a scenic 3-kilometre stroll along the Rhine to the heart of the city, basking in the August sunshine. Along the way, we crossed the Hohenzollern rail bridge, which, aside from being one of the most busiest rail bridges in Europe, with over 1,200 trains crossing daily, it's also absolutely covered in lovelocks. So many, in fact, that their combined weight now exceeds that of a train, forcing officials to start removing some of them before the whole thing collapses under the weight of romantic sentimentality and Instagrammers. Right across the bridge, behind the immense railway station, stands Cologne Cathedral, Germany's most famous landmark, and one of the largest cathedrals in Europe. Its soaring twin spires reach 157 metres, making it the tallest twin-spired church in the world. Construction began in 1248 to house the relics of the 3 wise men, brought over from Milan in 1164, but progress stalled in 1473 due to a severe lack of funds. Work didn't resume until the 19th century, and the cathedral was finally completed in 1880, over 600 years after it was started. That's basically how long it takes to build a new railway line in the UK. Inside, the vast soaring space is surprisingly simple yet breathtaking, with towering vaulted ceilings and intricate stained glass windows. We happened to arrive during midday mass, which only added to the sense of grandeur and purpose. With our dose of history complete, it was time to embrace another essential German tradition, a visit to a Brauhaus. We made our way to Peter's Brewery in the Old Market Square. Welcome to Peter's Brewhouse. It's a little way from Cologne Cathedral, a few steps. And it's a lovely square, there's lots of places to eat. We've ordered some lunch. We've gone with beef goulash and noodles and meatballs and gravy. So we'll see how we get on there. The beer's nice. Apparently when you're finished and you want the bill, you put the beer mat on top of your empty glass, which signifies you have finished. Who'd have thought? Suitably refuelled, we meandered back towards the ship, conveniently passing the Lindt Chocolate Museum on the way. Obviously, being a chocoholic that always falls off the wagon, we had no choice but to pop in. After wandering through the exhibits, learning about chocolate's fascinating history, although let's be honest, we were mainly there for the free samples.
Right, ready?
Here comes a piece.
Picked it up.
Here it comes.
We found ourselves at the famous chocolate fountain. Yes, it's as glorious as it sounds.
I didn't expect that. That's the chocolate one from the menu. Chocolate ice cream selection. Oh my goodness.
A brief cafe stop to consume lots of chocolate ice cream varieties, and a very necessary visit to the shop after, we emerged slightly dazed, heavily stocked, and possibly suffering the beginnings of a severe chocolate coma. Back to the ship we shuffled on rapidly solidifying limbs, ready for the real adventure to begin. Early the next morning, the ship slipped her ropes and we began the 70-mile journey south from Cologne to Koblenz. With a leisurely morning of sailing ahead, let's take a quick tour of the ship. First up, the boarding and reception areas, home to a small shop, the travel desk, and a self-service drink station, complete with cookie jar, a dangerously convenient addition. From here, a short stroll takes you to the main lounge where guests gather each evening before and after dinner, sipping cocktails to the soothing melodies of the onboard pianist. In the centre of the lounge sits the bar, and just in front of that, a modest dance floor, ready for those inspired to sway after a glass or three of Riesling. But our favourite daytime retreat? The front of the lounge, where panoramic views from the very bow of the ship make for the perfect spot to watch the world drift by. One deck below is the main dining room, where meals are served buffet style for breakfast and lunch, with a la carte dining in the evenings. Our only gripe? The classic river cruise dilemma. Just 4 tables for 2. It's not just Riviera. Many do not encourage date nights or just good old one-on-one chats. Why, river cruise industry? Why? For those seeking a more intimate dining experience, the bistro restaurant at the Stern offers another option for lunch and dinner. It quickly became a firm favourite, especially at lunchtime when it was first come first served. In the evenings, reservations were required, with guests typically limited to 1 booking per voyage, depending on how full the sailing is. But with the glorious weather blessing us that morning, the top deck was where we spent most of our time, relaxing under blue skies as the stunning German countryside glided past. By the time we were tucking into lunch at the bistro, Koblenz had appeared on the horizon. Our afternoon began with Riviera's included walking tour of the city. Typically, each port of call features a single guided tour, but there are enough guides to ensure all guests can join in. Leaving the dock, we strolled along the Moselle River towards the confluence with the Rhine, the very river we had sailed down earlier. Along the way, we passed a striking memorial to the Berlin Wall, featuring 3 large slabs of the original structure, disappointingly without David Hasselhoff suspended on a crane above them. Further along, we arrived at Deutsches Eck, forgive my pronunciations, which means German corner, where the 2 rivers meet, marked by the imposing Denkmal von Kaiser Wilhelm I. Part of the monument can be climbed, rewarding visitors with breathtaking views of the confluence. Top tip, don't attempt to climb the rest of it for social media bragging rights. That would be very dangerous and stupid and probably get you arrested. At this point, we politely decided to excuse ourselves from the walking tour. The reason? Well, we had our sights on the cable car before it stopped running. The gondola whisked us over the river, up to the ancient fortress perched on the hill overlooking Koblenz. Once at the top, we stumbled upon a delightful beer garden, so naturally, we paused for a well-earned locally brewed pint, with a spectacular view over the city and beyond. Back in town, we wandered further along the river to Koblenz Palace, before venturing into the historic centre for one specific reason: the Schangelbrunnen. aka the Spitting Boy statue. This mischievous little fountain delights, or ambushes, unsuspecting pedestrians with an unpredictable stream of water. We watched from a safe distance. Well, Helen did. I couldn't resist risking a simulated saliva soaking. After a fantastic day in Koblenz, we returned to the ship for the captain's welcome cocktail and gala dinner.
Captain's cocktail party well underway, with the canapes coming round, hot canapes. We've got bubbly. Tonight's menu, we've gone for well, they call it crispy romaine lettuce, and actually they should just call it Caesar salad, because that's what it is. And then we're both gone for the beef short rib. For dessert, I think we're both going to go to the cheese.
And the evening entertainment? Well, it couldn't have been more German if these two had arrived in their BMWs eating Knockwurst and whistling that Scorpions classic Wind of Change. If anyone had Lederhosen on their Rhine cruise bingo card, you can strike it off already. As the sun peaked over the horizon, we left Koblenz behind and set sail for one of the most spectacular stretches of the journey, the legendary Rhine Gorge. This was scenic sailing at its finest, charming riverside villages, rolling vineyards, and so many castles that we lost count somewhere around a lot. Well, good morning from the Rhine Valley. Well, actually it's called the Middle Rhine Valley, which is a 65 kilometre stretch between Koblenz and Rudesheim. So we've left Koblenz, what a beautiful little city that was, and we're now heading to Rudesheim. This whole valley is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's just absolutely chock full of vineyards and castles. So it's going to be a very interesting sail this morning. It's a scenic sail. We don't get to Rudesheim till about 1:45, I think, is the estimated time of arrival. The weather is outstanding, perfect for this sort of sailing, and it's just very, very relaxed. So what we're going to do is give you a montage of the Middle Rhine Valley, of all the beautiful things we've seen along the way. Anyway, please enjoy these scenes. The Rhine Gorge, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is the Hollywood of river landscapes, stretching 65 kilometres between Koblenz and Bingen. This legendary stretch of the Rhine is famous for its storybook scenery, historic towns, and the infamous Loreley Rock, where, according to legend, a siren song lures sailors to their watery doom. Basically the ultimate river cruise backdrop, where every bend in the river reveals another castle, another charming village, and yet another opportunity to wonder why you don't live here permanently. After a short cruise along the river, we hopped on bikes and pedalled into town for a bit of sightseeing. Welcome to Rudesheim, and we have requested a couple of bikes so that we can just go and freestyle in Rudesheim. We're actually meeting up with Fraser at Sea, another YouTuber we've known for ages. We've never actually met, because he's on the Emily Bronte, which is Riviera's sister ship to the Geoffrey Chaucer, and they've got bikes too. So it's bike madness this afternoon. See how we get on, shall we?
The sea. I don't know what any of this means.
Dodging pedestrians, navigating cobble streets, and attempting to look graceful while doing so. Well, let's just say it was an experience. Eventually, it was time to head back to the ship, conveniently docked directly across from a very inviting, yes, you guessed it, beer garden. Almost too convenient, really.
We are right outside old Jeff himself. Anyway, guys, cheers! Yeah. Cheers! Cheers! Oh, it's all tangled up. Well, that was fun. Welcome back. Thank you, Geoffrey. It has to be the hottest day of the trip. We did the hottest thing.
Back on board, we freshened up for our first dinner at the Bistro restaurant. Wanting to sample as much as possible, in the name of research, of course, we went for the sharing starters and mains, a decision that paid off deliciously. The meal ended up on a high note, with me having a velvety chocolate mousse. No remorse, no repent, as Metallica once growled many decades ago. Since we were staying overnight, I managed to squeeze in an early morning run through the town the next day. Seeing it in the quiet, golden morning light without the crowds, cyclists like ourselves, or general hustle, it was a completely different experience. Peaceful, picturesque, and definitely worth the effort. We set sail at breakfast time, continuing upstream towards the town of Worms. While this stretch of river wasn't quite as dramatic as the Rhine Gorge, it was still undeniably charming. Rolling landscapes, peaceful waters, and just enough riverside scenery to keep things interesting. Normally we'd have docked in Speyer, but thanks to a medieval music festival taking over the town, think lutes, chainmail, and an unusual amount of juggling, we had to adjust course and dock in Worms instead, about 30 miles north. Not to worry though, Riviera had us covered, arranging 4 coaches to shuttle us to Speyer. Once in Speyer, guests had 3 options. Visit the Technical Museum, home to vintage planes, trains and automobiles. Join a walking tour with a local guide, or go rogue and explore at your own pace. We adopted for a hybrid approach, starting with the guide at the cathedral, then peeling off to wander on our own. Speyer is one of Germany's oldest cities, its roots stretching back to Roman times, and its streets are packed with architectural gems. The Romanesque cathedral is a true showstopper, one of the largest and most significant of its kind in Europe. Built in the 11th century, it houses the tombs of several Holy Roman emperors and German kings, making it a place steeped in history. Leaving the walking tour, we meandered through the old town, following picturesque cobblestone streets, past historic buildings with colourful facades. At the end of the main street, we arrived at the Old Gate, one of the tallest city gates in Germany, standing proudly as a reminder of Speyer's medieval past. Sadly, our time in Speyer was short, leaving us with just enough time to admire its inviting beer gardens and charming cafes, without actually getting to stop at one. Cruel and unusual punishment. Had we docked in Speyer as originally planned, the town's close proximity to the river would have made for a fantastic evening stroll. We couldn't help but imagine how lovely it would have been to sip a local beer as the sun set over this historic town. Oh well, there's always next time, without the medieval cosplayers. Back on the ship in Worms, we wasted no time setting sail for our first overnight journey, cruising up the Rhine towards Strasbourg. Naturally, we headed straight to the top deck for a classic sail-away drink, watching the river slip by with a glass in hand, a very civilised way to travel.
The top deck on this ship was really quite nice. If you look at the front bit, these are really comfy. Even the tables and chairs have got cushions, which is nice. At the front here, lovely seating area. And if you nab a couple of cushions, really nice little arrangement here at the front. Right at the bow. It's beautiful, isn't it?
By late morning, we arrived in Strasbourg, docking at a less than scenic, read industrial, port. No fairy tale arrival here, but not to worry, Riviera had it covered again with coaches ready to whisk us into the city. Our drop-off point was Petit France, one of the most picturesque districts in Strasbourg's Grande Ile, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Sitting on the 3 small inlets of the River Ile, this medieval neighbourhood is a postcard-perfect blend of winding canals, half-timbered houses and cobbled streets that look like they've been plucked straight from a Brothers Grimm story. We begin at the Ponts Converts, the covered bridges, easily recognisable by their imposing 13th century towers. Once part of the city's fortifications, these structures now stand as historical sentinels over the waterways below. As we wandered deeper into Petit France, the 16th and 17th century half-timbered buildings stole the show, rows of crooked houses with brightly painted facades, flower-laden balconies and views straight into the canals. Originally home to tanners, fishermen and millers, the district owes much of its character to the River Ill, which once powered its industries. But behind the fairy tale charm lies a slightly less romantic backstory. The area's name doesn't actually stem from French patriotism. It comes from a 15th century hospital that treated French soldiers suffering from syphilis, then known as the French disease. Lovely. Thankfully these days, Petit-France is a far more desirable place to be, filled with winding alleyways, historic bridges, and an overwhelming number of cafes tempting tourists with riverside views. Leaving Petit-France, we made our way to the city's modern-day centre, home to the breathtaking Strasbourg Cathedral, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture. Made from pink sandstone, its intricate facade is a dizzying display of sculptures, decorative stonework and centuries-old craftsmanship. When completed in 1439, it was the tallest building in the world at 142 metres, a title it held until the 19th century. Even today, it dominates the city's skyline, its soaring spires visible from miles around. Inside, we were greeted by some of the most stunning stained glass windows we'd ever seen, dated back to the 14th and 15th centuries. Coupled with the vast vaulted ceilings, it's a sight designed to leave you awestruck. But the cathedral's main attraction isn't just its architecture. It's the astronomical clock, a 16th century mechanical masterpiece that tracks celestial movements and stages a daily procession of automated figures at 12:30 p.m. Sadly, we weren't there for the big show, but we did stick around long enough to watch it chime, a must-see moment before our guide set us loose with an hour of free time to explore central Strasbourg at our own pace. An enchanting city, a fascinating history, and a whole lot of half-timbered charm. Strasbourg certainly had made an impression. Sailing towards Breisach, we had a few locks to navigate before reaching our destination. Watching the ship rise and fall in the locks was strangely mesmerising, like watching a very slow, very large bathtub drain and then refill. We arrived in Breisach mid-morning, leaving us with just enough time to explore before lunch. This charming town serves as the gateway to the Black Forest and would be our launchpad for the day's adventures. First on our list, a climb up to the St. Stephen Monster, a striking landmark built between the 12th and 15th centuries. Perched on a hill, it dominates the town's skyline and offers panoramic views of the Rhine, neighbouring France, and our afternoon destination, the legendary Black Forest. The climb was well worth it, both for the views and for the excuse to indulge guilt-free in what was coming next. Fueled up on an entirely balanced diet of pizza, burgers, ice cream and beer, all the major food groups, we were ready for our journey into the Black Forest.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Breisach in Germany. And we've got an hour and a half now until we get to a lake. And it's the largest lake in the Black Forest, apparently.
The scenic coach ride took us through charming villages and postcard-worthy countryside, while our guide, who grew up in the region, shared local stories, traditions, and snippets from his own childhood. It was one of those journeys where the landscape itself was half the experience.
We are at last here in Titisee. We're going to go across this little wooden bridge to get to the largest lake in the Black Forest. Hey, we've got to get across this bridge. See what I did there? Black Forest, Gatto. Yeah, we've got Gatto, Gatto cross this bridge. No.
Our destination, Lake Titisee, spans 1.3 square kilometres, surrounded by dense forest and rolling hills. In the summer, it's a hotspot for swimming, boating, hiking and cycling, although we were far more interested in its other main attractions.
It's very pretty, isn't it? Look at that.
There's like a giant cuckoo clock on the side of that building. Being a tourist favourite, Titisee is the place to pick up quintessential Black Forest souvenirs, most famously cuckoo clocks. And let's be honest, we had our sights set on something far sweeter, the iconic Black Forest cake. After a bit of wandering, we found the perfect spot to enjoy a slice of chocolate cherries and whipped cream, paired with a local beer and a lakeside view. Oh, this was pure bliss.
Well, you can't come to the Black Forest without having a Black Forest Gâteau. Here it is. Cheers, honey. Cheers.
So heavy.
Worth every minute of the coach ride and the excessively talking guide.
As hard it was to believe, the cruise was nearing its end. That evening we toasted an unforgettable journey with the crew parade, the captain's farewell party and a gala dinner. As if that wasn't enough, the night ended on a high note with a mesmerising performance by a talented local violinist. Because if you're going to end a cruise, you might as well do it with a touch of elegance. The next morning we arrived at our final destination, Basel. But there was no time for sentimental goodbyes just yet. Our day was packed with some truly special sightseeing. In fact, Peter, our cruise concierge, went so far as to call it the highlight of the entire trip. No pressure there, then. Armed with picnic lunches thoughtfully provided by the ship, because adventure always requires snacks, we set off on our first stop of the day, Lucerne.
Now, there's nothing more Swiss than a Patek Philippe shop next to a chocolatier. You know you're in Switzerland.
Our Lucerne adventure began at Chapel Bridge, a 14th century covered wooden bridge and one of the city's most iconic landmarks. With its weathered timbers, floral displays and breathtaking lakeside setting, it's basically the Swiss postcard that everyone wants to step into. But there's more to this bridge than just good looks. It also houses a series of 17th century paintings depicting Swiss history and mythology. Some are fascinating, others are decidedly gruesome, providing that even in the 1600s, people enjoyed a bit of dramatic storytelling. Right next to the bridge stands the water tower, a medieval stronghold that has served many purposes over the years, including a prison and a treasury. With the first stop ticked off, we were just getting started. Lucerne had plenty to offer. But our chosen focus for the time we had left was to visit the city's most visited and arguably the most fascinating but sombre attraction.
Well, the walk to the Lion Monument is very nice indeed. Oh, just completely been sideswiped by that. Look at it. I mean, again, this is what Switzerland is famous for. Oh my giddy aunt. Look at this. I think we're at the where the monument is. The Glitschgarten Lohenkammerna. Oh, it must be built into this rock here. Wouldn't you say? Oh, there it is. Look. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Wow. That is stunning. That is beautiful. Now, this is the Lion Monument, which commemorates the Swiss guards who were massacred during the French Revolution while protecting King Louis XVI. Mark Twain once described the monument as the most mournful and moving piece of stone in the world. Couldn't agree more, Mark. It's absolutely beautiful. So we're back on the coach, and we've got about 1 hour in the coach now, 1 hour 8 minutes. We are going to a Wilderswil. Oh, it's time to crack open the lovely Riviera packed lunch we got here. We're going to do that right now. Bon appetit.
The drive from Lucerne may have been long, but the scenery more than made up for it, winding past mirror-like lakes, charming mountain villages, and enough postcard-worthy views to make you consider moving to Switzerland permanently.
Welcome to Wilderswil. Is that what we're going on? Wow. That's the local regional train. Helen's taking a picture of the map.
Right, let me show you on the map.
Are we going to Harder Cologne?
So we're at this place called Wilderswil. We're
Wilderswil.
going on this train here, which
The
is the one we just
Brutenschlag.
saw.
Mhm.
And we're going all the way up to the
The syringe platter. The syringe platter.
1967
Wow.
meters.
We have our tickets. Wilderswil to Syringe Plate. And while I wait, I'm just going to go across here because there's a supermarket. I think it's a supermarket. You do with a nice cold drink, to be fair, even if they are like 20 quid each. Just what it's like here. Look at all there. Welcome to a Swiss supermarket. Oh, 150. That can't be 150, surely. I have only just noticed that view through there. Look at that. Oh my giddy aunt. Such a clear day. Couldn't have asked for a clearer day. It's incredible.
Our 7.3 kilometre ascent up almost 1,500 metres in just under an hour was nothing short of spectacular. As the train chugged steadily upwards, we were treated to breathtaking views of the Eiger, Monch and Jungfrau mountains, along with the turquoise expanse of Lake Thun and Lake Brienz. Originally built in the late 1800s, this railway is an engineering marvel, with its steep gradients, hairpin bends and sheer drops, ensuring both awe and the occasional nervous glance out of the window. If you ever wanted to experience a scenic train ride with a side of mild adrenaline, this is the one. An hour later we arrived at Schneegplatt, I can't pronounce it, where we had just enough time to soak up the sheer grandeur of the Swiss Alps. We stood and watched as our train disappeared back down the tracks, silently hoping the return journey would be just as smooth. With the views thoroughly admired, there was only one logical next step, a celebratory cold beer at the nearby cafe, because when you've conquered one of Switzerland's most scenic railway journeys, hydration is important.
Oh my goodness, Helen, no. Just stop and look. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Oh, what do you think of that then?
We can see where Peter says it's the highlight of the trip, can't you?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah. It's definitely the highlight of the whole week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just made the other days of the week. I can't even remember what they are. It's just been so lovely. It is.
Switzerland in summertime is actually it's something we've always wanted to do.
Oh.
We've never done.
No, we planned it, didn't we?
Yeah, we
10
planned
years
a
ago.
road trip, didn't we? During lockdown, we planned a road trip and we never got round to doing it.
We're near the Horns.
I mean,
Well, they're over there, aren't they?
Stunning, isn't it?
It is amazing.
Stunning.
And this is our last full day. We get off the boat tomorrow. But tomorrow, we start another exciting adventure. Anyway, let's enjoy top of the world. Switzerland in the summer. Yes, it lives up to the hype, doesn't it? Incredible. Well, good evening. It's our final night on board Jeff, as I call him. We're back in the Riverview Bistro. So we're going to enjoy our final evening here before we're off to the heart of Switzerland tomorrow.
I might go for the crostini.
Yeah, that was nice. Really nice.
nice.
Oh, but the Caesar salad, Helen. I love Caesar salad. First time we were here, we had the shared platter for two for both the entrees and the main courses. Tonight we're going to individualise. So, wait and see. This is the perfect day to a absolutely fabulous week on the Rhine.
Well, our river cruise might have ended, but we weren't heading home just yet. Instead, we hopped on a coach with fellow travellers for a 3-day Swiss extension, kicking things off with a scenic train ride from Basel to Chur. Because if there's one thing Switzerland does exceptionally well, besides chocolates and watches, it's trains with jaw-dropping views.
Well, good morning. Good morning on day one of the Swiss Glacier Express extension.
We have just left Basel. Yes, it is Basel, not Basel. I don't know why. Basel? So we've just left Basel. And we're on our way to Zurich. But unfortunately, we should have gone all the way to Chur, which is where we're going. So non-stop. But there's been a problem, a mechanical problem on the line. Typical railways. And we're going to have to make a change at Zurich, which is not normal. Not something you'd normally have to put up with on this trip, but so we had a little bit of bad luck today. But the good luck is the weather is absolutely divine, and so is Helen. We'll see you when we get to Zurich. At last, we have made it to Chur. Beautiful countryside, stunning scenery, luscious lakes, and, well, tremendous trains. Welcome to Chur, or is it Chur?
It's actually pronounced core, so forgive us if we don't realise this until the end of our visit. Apologies for the ridiculous pronunciations until then. As you were.
I'm going to walk through cool Chur. Oh yeah, give me cool Chur.
Was that nice? Do you feel cool?
Do you want to go?
Do you feel cool?
I feel very cool.
Our home for the night was Hotel Stern, a historic 4-star hotel nestled in the heart of Chur. With a 300-year legacy, it proudly holds the title of the city's only Swiss historic hotel, and it certainly wears its heritage well. The hotel's 65 rooms are scattered throughout a charming labyrinth of corridors, each one uniquely designed to reflect its rich past while still offering modern comforts. Perfect blend of past and present, and a pretty neat place to recharge before the next leg of our Swiss adventure. After an early start and a few hours on the train, we dropped our bags and head straight out. Wandering into the old town, we found a cafe, claimed a prime alfresco spot, and dug into lunch under the warm Swiss sun.
Well, we found somewhere called Capricorn. Some nice food going on there. Nothing in Switzerland is cheap, so just remember. You can see it's 7. Is that francs? 7 francs 90. Yeah. So it's going to be about £7 for a pint. Welcome to London. The menu looks good. It draws me into the burger page. I think Helen's liking the look of the poke bowls we saw. Okay, so we're just going to have a little wander around Chur. And we've come across a little place called Geigerplatz, or Geiger Square. Hans Rudi Geiger, born here in 1940, February the 5th, and H.R. Geiger, as he's known to his fans. He designed and created the alien creature, which we all know today, fans of the Alien franchise. He was an artist that was famous for doing rather sort of horrific nightmarescapes. This little fountain here is a little tribute to H.R. Geiger, as you can see inside. That's some of his designs in there. So, sci-fi fans, something about Chur you didn't know about, maybe. Or maybe you did. I didn't, but I'm equally blown away by it.
Strolling through the compact streets of Chur, we met with a treasure trove of historic buildings, charming alleyways, peaceful little squares, and scenic river walks. The kind of place where every turn tempts you to explore just a little further.
Chur is Switzerland's oldest city, dating back over 5,000 years. That's a lot of years. Back to the Bronze Age, apparently. There was a settlement here, well before H.R. Geiger was born. Now, around 37,000 people, lucky people, live in Chur. And it is a gorgeous little place. These little streets are so labyrinthine, I think that's the name. Little fountains everywhere and turrets, and I think the guide described it as quaint. Yeah, I think it's what the word was invented for. Sounded like a spooky shop to you? Does to me. Oh, we got to the river. Didn't expect it to be this low.
As if the old world charm wasn't enough, the city was also dotted with incredible street art, sculptures and statues, turning even a casual stroll into an impromptu art tour.
Helen thought it was a rather good idea that we walk up there before dinner, which is a viewpoint apparently over the city. Here we are. Oh, there. So I wonder what the view's like from up here. Oh, look.
That evening we didn't have to search long for a dinner spot. Just after a short stroll from our hotel, we found a charming French bistro-style restaurant and tucked into a delicious meal. Good food, good wine, and a short walk back, the kind of effortless evening we could get used to.
Ah, here's to us on this first night of our Grand Swiss adventure. And I think we've cracked the pronunciation of this city. It's not Chur. Helen thinks it's Core. Core.
We had been looking forward to this day for so long we could barely sleep the night before, so naturally we were up bright and early, ready to meet our fellow travellers at the train station. Excited, caffeinated, and possibly over-prepared with multiple cameras at the ready. As we approached our ride for the next few hours, the anticipation soared. There it was, the bright red Glacier Express, a train so famous it doesn't need to rush. Unlike your typical express train, which prides itself on speed, this one takes a leisurely 8 hours to get from St. Moritz to Zermatt, a distance most bullet trains would laugh at. But this isn't about speed. This is about the experience, the scenery, and the ridiculous number of times you'll say wow before reaching Zermatt. Stepping into the panoramic carriage, we immediately notice what makes this journey so special. Enormous wraparound windows that practically force you to admire the alpine beauty. They aren't just windows. They're giant postcard-perfect frames, seemingly designed for Instagram.
So we joined at Chur.
585 metres above sea level. We're now in the Rhine Gorge, 630 metres above sea level.
Yeah.
Look what we're doing next.
The next stint goes all the way up to 2,000 metres.
That's the highest point. Can you imagine what the descent is going to be like?
Slow.
Don't even think about it.
The train eased out of Chur, meandering through lush valleys, sleeping mountain villages, and across bridges that look straight out of a fantasy novel. Leaving the Rhine Gorge, we began our ascent, and it was this moment we realised two things. One, our camera roll was about to be 80% mountains, 10% train window reflections, and 10% failed selfies with cows in the background. And two, we should have packed extra phone storage. As the train climbed higher, we reached the Oberalp Pass, the highest point of the journey at 2,033 metres. The landscape transformed from rolling meadows to quite barren terrain with a definite chill in the air, despite it being summer. At this altitude, we found ourselves questioning our choice of summer wear. It was never going to be Barbados up here, was it? Halfway up, the train made a brief stop, giving us 10 glorious minutes to step outside, stretch our legs and take in the crisp mountain air. And of course attempt to take even more photos of scenery that somehow still refused to fit into a single frame. As we began our descent, it was time to truly embrace the moment. A couple of local beers were ordered. We sat back, sipping and watching glaciers and waterfalls drift past. This is not a bad way to travel. As the sun dipped lower, the golden hour painted the landscapes in cinematic perfection, just in time for our arrival in Zermatt, home of the Matterhorn, a mountain so iconic that Toblerone had no choice but to make it their brand ambassador. Arriving in this pitch-perfect alpine town, we strolled along the bustling high street towards our home for the next 2 nights, Hotel Simi. With the day's adventures behind us and the mighty Matterhorn watching over the town, one thing was clear: this was going to be a very special stay.
Wow. It's been a long day, and this is such a nice surprise.
Yeah,
It really is such a nice surprise. And we've got a balcony as well, which is a bit dark, so I'm not going to show you that tonight, but we'll show you that tomorrow. 2 nights here.
Well, there's a Euro plug as well.
Fantastic. Well, good morning from Zermatt. Oh my goodness. What a fantastic morning. Fully refreshed after a nice night's sleep in our beautiful room. And now we're going to go and try and find, and I don't like it, but I'm going to do it, the gondola up to the Matterhorn. I saw the sun rise at around 10 to 7 this morning, and it was the most beautiful thing, I think, in terms of mountain range I've ever seen. It just lit the top up like a beacon. It was incredible. I think this is the main street, and it's pedestrianised. The kind of emotions you get from it, it's all wood, flowers, Swiss flags, obviously.
Bakeries.
Oh my goodness, bakeries. Look at that. So we've walked through the village, and now we've got to cross the river. And this is the way to the cable car. And my anxiety levels are starting to rise, but determined to face my fears. So that's the price lists. It's not cheap. 120 Swiss francs return just to go to the Glacier Paradise, which is where we want to go. We have a voucher. Riviera Travel have given us a voucher. Hopefully gives us 50% off. Have to see. Well, that was good. We did get half price. So the voucher worked. Thank you, Riviera Travel. So it's 120 Swiss francs.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my giddy aunt. Here we go.
Looking forward to this.
No. Right, here we go.
Richard's favourite pastime, going on a gondola.
Absolutely love it. My favourite ever thing.
Welcome aboard the Matterhorn Express, where Swiss precision engineering meets effortless altitude gain. As we climbed towards the clouds, we drifted past lush green meadows, sleeping mountain cows, and plenty of hikers, some looking jealously at our gondola ride, while others wearing that smug, self-righteous look that only long-distance hikers can pull off.
Well, that bit, eh? Oh, you're coming off. Right, so this is the first station, but we're not stopping here. This is Fury.
1,867 metres.
Oh, wait. 1,807? Wow. This is where we get catapulted into the open again. It's going to hit that flywheel, look. Bang, here we go.
Oh my word, blimey, it's slope.
Hang on a minute, you're not supposed to be afraid. It's me that's supposed to be afraid. It takes us half an hour to get to our first stop, which is halfway up. And the lady on the reception basically recommended us to stop and get out and just adjust ourselves to the altitude for a little while, for a quarter of an hour or something. And then you do the second half, which takes you to the top. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on tight, kiddies. Hold on tight. Whoa!
The Matterhorn's going to come into
like a
view.
bloody roller
Matterhorn's
coaster.
coming into view.
Here it comes.
Oh.
Wow, look at that. That is a view. That mountain is just, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that mountain range. Whoa, just come over that hill. Oh my giddy arm, look at that. That's amazing.
30 minutes had passed in a mixture of adrenaline and mild terror before we reached Trockener Steg at 2,939 metres. This is where you change cable car for the most terrifying leg of the journey, to climb Matterhorn, the highest cable car station in Europe, at 3,883 metres above cruise level. It was here where I had some serious second thoughts about doing the next bit, and I really felt quite unwell. I have a distaste for cable cars at the best of times, but the highest in Europe? Nah.
Oh my goodness. Look at this up here. That must be Zermatt down there, look. Oh my giddy aunt.
The 3S gondola system, or the Matterhorn Glacier ride if you're feeling fancy, whisks passengers from Trockener Steg to the Klein Matterhorn in about 9 minutes, with only 3 support towers doing the heavy lifting, one of which is amongst the tallest in the world, which didn't make me feel any better at all. The 28-seat cabins cruise at around 27 km per hour over the 3.7 kilometres and can haul 2,000 people per hour past panoramic views of the Matterhorn, Breithorn and even Mont Blanc, assuming the weather cooperates, which thankfully today, at least I didn't have to worry about that. In a rather petrifying engineering feat, the lift crosses one of the most challenging alpine terrains without intermediate support towers between massive glacier areas. By the way, the reason this is all about me is because Helen was absolutely fine with the whole thing. Lucky, lucky lady.
Yeah, I put my glasses on so you can't see the whites of my eyes.
Can't see how scared he is.
This has got to be worth a thumbs up on the video, surely, and a subscribe, please.
Every gondola ride follows the same emotional trajectory. Stage 1, excitement and selfies. The first few minutes are filled with grinning, snapping photos and waving at hikers like Alpine royalty. Stage 2, oh wow, that's high. The valley floor shrinks, the peaks get closer, and you start to grasp just how high this thing is climbing. Stage 3, awkward silence. Everyone in the gondola quietly reevaluates their life choices, suddenly aware of just how much air is between them and the ground. Stage 4, acceptance and awe. You lean back, breathe it all in, and fully embrace the fact that you are floating above the Swiss Alps.
Welcome to the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise. We're in the mountain. We are actually in a mountain. Inside a mountain. We'll go down here, shall we? Ooh, this is nice and cold.
It is cold.
It is cold.
I mean, it's like breathy cold.
Oh, you can see your breath.
Yeah,
You can. Are we in a glacier?
I think we might be.
Are we actually in
I think.
a glacier?
Look at this.
We are. We are inside a glacier, Helen.
Yeah.
The single weirdest thing I've ever done. There's like crevices and stuff, isn't there? What are we even doing here? Inside a glacier. This looks like a selfie spot. At the summit, we stepped into the Ice Palace, a tunnel of solid ice carved deep inside a glacier that's been here for thousands of years. Everything, the walls, the floor, the sculptures, are made entirely of ice.
I do get this sort of strong sense that we're somewhere where perhaps we shouldn't be. Look at that there, look. Can you see in there?
Yeah, I don't want to think about it too much.
No.
Right, it's time to go to the panorama platform. You need to get into a lift for it. Out of breath. He's being so high up.
Right, here we are. The viewing platform. Great. Huge statue of Jesus. I think you have to probably thank him for getting this far.
Standing above the world, surrounded by snow-capped peaks, was a moment of pure Swiss perfection.
Here, I don't know if you can see, because I don't think the zoom lens is that good on the iPhone. There's people up there, right at the top. Can you see? Little dots. They're actually up there.
Back on solid ground, there was only one logical next step. A well-earned beer in the sunshine, yes, you guessed it. Watching the world go by and secretly marvelling at the fact that we'd just been inside a glacier.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What can we say? We've stopped at a little place called Edward's Bar, which is opposite the
Grand Hotel Zermatt, and it's right on the pavement, which is lovely because we can people watch as they go past. It's one of our favourite pastimes. But we made it. We made it down from the mountain. We faced our fears. Oh my goodness, Helen. I mean, it was probably the best weather you're ever likely to get.
Sky is blue.
Oh, we've got a little background music here. Look, what's going on? Some horns. And you know what? If I had a Switzerland bingo card, this would have given me full house. Before we left this alpine summer dream, there was one final item on Helen's Swiss bucket list, a traditional Swiss fondue. Because what's a trip to Switzerland without dipping bread into a bubbling pot of molten cheese?
So, we are in... Where are we, Helen?
Say cheese.
Say Cheese, which is a fondue. It's actually on underneath the hotel, the big posh hotel. And we did look around, but I think this had the best fondue, according to all the reviews.
Yeah, we wanted to try fondue.
We wanted to try, didn't we?
Proper fondue.
Proper fondue on our last night in Switzerland. Did it? Oh my goodness. Fondue. Or fondant, one of the two. That guy over there is making cheese crusts out of what we ate. Judging by the amount of toil he's putting into it, Helen, way too much effort for how little we're going to eat.
Yeah.
So go on then, try a bit.
Okay.
Cheese, what do they call it?
It's
What do
the
they call
crust.
it? Cheese crusts.
As we savoured every gooey, cheesy bite, we couldn't help but reflect on how this little town had completely stolen a piece of our hearts. Switzerland in the summer, absolutely magical. And yet, we'd love to stay forever. Please.
We have found the perfect place for our picnic, just by the river, and view of the Toblerone. Right, if anyone needs us, we'll be here for the next hour. I've got ham and cheese baguette. And after vowing never to eat cheese again after last night, chocolate. Well, that's it. We've got a 4-hour train transfer to the airport, and then we'll be heading off home, where there are no mountains, or even sunshine, I don't think, or rivers, just home. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please watch these next, and we'll see you there. Thank you. Auf Wiedersehen!